Hello everyone, welcome to Papa's Workshop. Well, the folks at the XTool company have done it. They found the niche in the marketplace that nobody has really effectively touched, and they created this laser along with this air purification system to be able to allow you to not only have an IR laser as well as a diode laser in one compact unit, but you can take this virtually anywhere, including the craft shows, which has been that missing link for a long time. So what comes in the package? You have, of course, the manuals. You have a wide range of different products to be able to test and learn how to use this new laser. You also have this unit right here, which will allow you to be able to cut through the materials, and you can have this as a standoff. And you have the pre-filters over here to be able to go into the air purification unit. I want to walk around the unit and show you the different items on it. Now this knob right here actually allows you to be able to adjust the focus of the laser, and this button handles the framing. You also have this little cheat sheet here that shows exactly what the different symbols are going to be doing. So that's handy to have. You don't have to refer to the manual every time. And you have two outlets down here at the bottom. This bottom one is so that you can connect the USB cable to your computer, and this top one has the cable provided so that you can plug in the rotary tool right here and operate that. You do have an emergency stop on the laser right here, and more than likely when you get the machine, this is going to be pushed in. You must open this up so that it is raised up to be able to operate this machine. If this is pushed in, which more than likely it will be, then this machine is not going to start up and work. So that should be the first thing that you check to make sure that you reset that and pull that out. And you do so just by simply twisting the knob. If it's pushed in, it will not work. Twist it and it pops out, and now you're ready to use the laser. On the back side of the laser, you have your off and on switch, and this is where your power adapter is plugged in. You also have the cable that will go from the laser over to the air purifier, and you have this right here. This is a USB locking mechanism. So if this is not plugged in, this laser is not going to work. So you have to have this key to be able to plug it in to be able to work. And that is a fantastic safety feature to have on this unit. Now on the front side of the air purifier, you do have this button here. And this will be able to manually turn it off and on. And if it's not connected to the F1 laser, then you can control, and you'll see this light right here on, where it's basically manually controlled. If you have it where it's combined on, when you turn the laser on, this unit will automatically turn on. Over here, this is where the F1 laser is plugged in. You have your power adapter that will plug in here. Now on this side of the air purifier, you have the off and on switch, and you have this switch. You have the maximum and the minimum, but there's actually three settings. You have the maximum, there is a medium speed, and then there's the low speed. Now one of the things that it recommends is for the fan speeds. If you're using the diode laser, which is the blue light, you need to be able to use the setting on the maximum, and that's the recommended setting. If you're using the IR or the infrared, then use the medium or the low speed. One of the things that I like to do is label all of my AC adapters, and I just use this tool. It works great. I can hit print, and then I can create the label and put it onto the AC adapter. And I'm doing the same thing with this one. And then print this out. And that clearly identifies exactly which AC adapter goes with which unit. The next thing I want to show you is how you connect the hoses. Because the hoses will go from this, where is the exhaust port, and it'll come over to the inlet, and this is the exit here. I'm going to take this hose, and it just slips in, comes right up here, and plugs into this one. And that's as simple as it gets. The exhaust hose, you can use it or you don't have to use it. But I like to be able to plug it in, just like that, and point it down away from the work area. Now I want to open up the filter system itself, and you do so just by pushing these little levers in on each side. And inside you have the filter system, which is pretty remarkable. Now up top you do have the pre-filter, and then you have the HEPA filters down below, and you do have two pre-filters in this package also that you can use if these get dirty. And then this literally just snaps back on by pushing it down. Now this gives you a lot of the basic information that you need to know about the smoke purifier, as well as the basic components on the outside of the F1 laser. I want to suggest that you refer to the manual for more detailed information so that you can become very familiar with this unit. Next, I want to give you the opportunity to review the specs. No, I'm not one that wants to read all this, but you can look at it, stop it, and study it as you like. XTool Creative Space is probably the best software to be able to use to run the new F1 laser. One of the nice things about this, you have a section right up here that you can click on, and you're going to see multiple pages of different projects that are ready to be able to do for you. And all of these different projects you can just load directly into the machine and be able to edit and run your own project. So this is a fantastic way to be able to get a lot of projects without having to go through a lot of the different steps. So you can engrave on the material, you can engrave on the stainless steel, wooden sunglasses. There's so many different projects that you can do that are already preset, and all you have to be able to do is just load them into the machine. In the caption, under each of the project, it lists the different machines that this is ideal for. And I just grabbed my logo and I brought it in, and I want to be able to take this logo and be able to shift it over to the center point on this square. And that's all I really need to do. This logo is actually ready to be able to engrave. So you have three different settings over here to be able to score it. You can also engrave it, or you could actually cut. My choice is going to be engraving this. So I want to measure this, and it looks like about 69, maybe 65. I think 65 is going to work good for this. So to be able to key that in, I have the little lock right here. I can just type in 65, and that will change the size. I can also just highlight this, drag it over, and have it centered directly into the workspace. It's very easy to be able to operate this software. You have a lot of the same type of things that you can do that any other software has. So this is very easy to be able to learn and understand and be up and running very quickly. You can adjust the speed in the power setting just simply with the slide of the bar, or you can highlight it and key in the exact amount that you want. The focus is so easy on this machine. You have the two dots, the red and the blue. You twist the knob left or right to be able to have those two dots come together, and it actually forms purple. When you do that, it is focused. Now it's time to do the framing for our project, and we can hit the framing button on the computer screen, or remember that little button underneath the focus setting, and you have that button there. Either way, it works. At this point, the framing's done, the focus is done. It's time to hit the process button And when you do that, you get a little prompt on the screen to be able to hit this button right here to be able to start your engraving. Don't forget, close the lid, and we're ready to start engraving. After just a couple of minutes, this is all finished, and let's look at the results. Guys, this is fantastic. Very detailed, very precise, and it looks absolutely great. So this is an amazing tool to be able to have, especially at your craft shows or any place where you used to be prohibited from taking it. Let's move on to this little wolf. And in this case, we're going to score this onto the metal business cards. And this, I think, is where this laser on the IR function really shines and is an outstanding selection to be able to use for your craft shows or different types of events. And when I bring this file in, I do want to resize it just a little bit. And as I've shown you before, with that little button locked right there, I can just key in the size that I want. It automatically changes it, and it keeps the portion. When I went to frame this and I was looking at this through the camera, this blue light just would not show up in the camera on this black business card. So I grabbed a different color just to be able to show you that the framing function is working, and then I went ahead and placed the black card down so that I could continue with the engraving. The nice thing about this is so quick. It takes literally 6 seconds to complete this wolf, and the results are absolutely gorgeous. Take a moment and look at the detail. This is very fine detail on a very small business card. This, you just can't get any better than this, and it only took 6 seconds. Now I want to do the same thing with my logo on the business card, and the detail is amazing, and it only took 3 seconds to be able to do. Now in the text, I want to change a couple things. I don't want hello on there. I'm going to type the dog's name, which is Nemo. And I'm going to change this, instead of a 72 point, I think around 30 point should do pretty well. I'll leave everything else alone, and that should be good. So now I have Nemo, and I have it centered. I can just highlight this, and I can move it around. You can see the crosshairs. We'll bring it right into the center. And over here on this side, we'll go ahead and set this up as score. We'll do this as an IR laser, and we'll set this up for 100% power. The speed's 1,000 normally is what you would do, so that should be fine. Well, let's select the framing down here. I'm not sure you can see that in the camera, but that is exactly where I want it. That looks real good. You got to catch that just right with the camera so that you can see how it's framing. I think that's going to look real good. So we'll stop the framing and process this. We have the focus. We'll close the lid down, and we'll hit the button to start, and it's finished. So in 2 seconds, that is done, and that looks great. So that is Nemo. That looks absolutely awesome. Now if you want to flip that over, then you could put the address and phone number on that side. I'm not going to do that on the camera, but that looks really, really good. It's really hard to get the framing where you can see it in the camera, but that does look really, really good. I have to move the camera left and right to be able to catch the whole entire framing, but that looks great. Now this is on the silver, the stainless steel, and we're going to engrave yet another dog's name, and let's see how this one does. Now this time I used the engrave function rather than the score, so it is taking a little bit longer, but this is actually a fill instead of just the outline. The results are fantastic. Cleo's name came out nice, sharp, and clear. That is just beautiful. It's a little bit hard to catch this in the light because it's so reflective, but look at the results of that. So this IR laser, along with the diode laser, is a perfect item to have. Now I want to take the opportunity to kind of summarize everything and tell you what I like and what I don't like about this new machine. First off, I absolutely love the fact that it's small, it's compact, and it has the air purifier with it. That is very, very important. The reason being is you can take this to the craft shows. You're not going to disturb your neighbor. You're not going to have the smell of the engraving of the wood or the different products because that filter is going to take care of it. That is a huge win, and that fulfills a niche that has not been anywhere in the market before. The lasers you just couldn't take out to the craft shows. There was no way to be able to protect the different people's eyes with these lasers. And with this one, you can. So that's a huge hit. The next thing that you can do is actually perhaps go into some of the different specialty shops and set up on a weekend or an afternoon and be able to customize different jewelry items right on the spot. And you saw it only takes a matter of seconds to be able to do. And when you're working in an environment like that, time is money. You need to be able to do it quick, and this is the ideal machine for that. The next thing, you have a 10-watt laser built into this, so you can do the different wood and the different products that you could do with a standard laser. And again, that is an amazing feat to be able to have both the diode laser as well as an IR laser built into one unit. That again is a huge win. What I don't like is the absolute small footprint. So where it's good on one side to be able to take to the craft shows, it's restrictive on the other end as far as the size of the project. But if you're doing jewelry and different things such as that, then you're okay. Now it does have an accessory where you can have the slide accessory to it. I don't have that. I can't demonstrate that to you, but you can do multiple projects at the same time. And if you need to mass produce different items, then that's the way to go. As many of you know, I always use Lightburn for the different lasers that I have. And in this one, I use the XTool Creative Space. That is the software that you need to use with this one. And quite frankly, guys, it's easy to be able to learn, set up, and be able to control the laser with. So I was very impressed with that software. So don't let that fool you, and don't let that be a turnoff for all the Lightburn users out there. This machine can still do a wonderful job with this software. Now you can use Lightburn, but it's going to be limited to more of the 10-watt laser than anything else. You're not going to get the full features if you try to use Lightburn with this. So I would discourage that. Now one of the things that I did not get to try, it says that the accuracy and the preciseness can go down to 0.3 of a millimeter. That means you're going to have a magnifying glass to be able to read it. Can it do that? From what I've seen on the different size projects I did, probably can. But we're going to have to test that out in a future video. And the last thing I want to talk about is the weight. This is small enough that you can pick up and carry to and from the craft show without a lot of difficulty. This is an amazing. So if I had to rate this on a 5-star rating, this would be, I would have to say, a 4.9 out of the 5 stars. There's just so many wins and very few negatives on this new XTool F1 laser. Now, one of the things that I did have to do is I did have all the different settings to be able to precisely put in to run this laser. So there was a little bit of experimenting there that took place. But if you go to a craft show, I'm sure that you're going to have those settings dialed in, so you're going to know exactly what you want to be able to have your machine set up for when you engrave the different personalized items. And when you go to a craft show, that's what you want. That's what's going to sell, is the personalized items. Now I'm going to be using this later some more to be able to do some different types of jewelry. I'm going to be able to engrave some pins. I want to be able to engrave the slate. There's so many other things that I want to try with this laser that I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't subscribed, by all means, hit that little bell notification and the subscribe button down there so that you won't miss out on any of the videos that I'm doing. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video today, and I look forward to seeing you real soon in the next video. So for now, bye-bye.